Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TRT Productions. I am your host, Big Rand, along with my co-host, Tony Tone.
Aha, that woody woo, man. Hope you enjoying your day, even though it's raining.
We in the house tonight. Tonight, people, you can see the screen. We gonna talk about the migration tonight, man. We gonna talk about the migration tonight going on in New York City. Eric Adams, welcome to TRT Productions. Yeah.
So you're talking about Adams today.
Not just
and what
Adams.
I know, but you're saying and what he tried to put forth, what he's trying to do, and he's explaining what we're going through.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
First question, before I even...
you want to start with a question?
Yeah, I want to start with a question. Do we have the right to tell immigrants, migrants, people from other countries, whatever, however you want to see it, do we have the right to tell them that they can't come here knowing that, I'm going to say this, I mean, you don't mean we're throwing out numbers, I'm going to say 60% of the United States is immigrants and migrations, like the people who came from other countries and settled here for new life, third world, fourth world countries.
Countries was built on immigrants.
Right. So,
understood.
Okay, I'm listening.
I thought about this for a minute when I found out what the topic was going to be, and I said to myself, how could you not be selfish at some point? Because even the most humanitarian person, I guess, they're not going to give up their last or not going to sacrifice their livelihood for others. There's not a lot of people that want to do that. There's a lot of people here that's already suffering. And then to add, I'm just saying one side of the spectrum, then to add more, as they say, fuel to the fire. Some people look at it as, I got a hard time finding a place to live. I got a hard time getting a job. I got a hard time getting finances from the government. But here it is that it's being viewed that individuals coming from other places get these offerings as soon as they enter, as soon as they get there.
I just want to make it understood that since the spring of 2022, we have had 110 migrants have come to the city, and about 60,000 right now currently housed.
Now you said 110. You meant to say 110,000.
110,000. I'm sorry.
No, I already know.
Yeah,
I already know what the numbers is. And we're still dealing with, I didn't even see that up there on the board. And we're still, I learned this from the newscast.
Right.
And we're still dealing with 60,000 plus that's still a part of our system. Now, my thing is, where did those other 40,000 go? Did they get jobs? Did they?
To me, that's what it looks like they're trying to do. That they're trying to they're trying to take the first group, the first wave, and they are trying to give them jobs and opportunities and things like that. I don't understand how they're having such a hard time.
Well, I do.
You know,
because just based on what you just said, a person that's lived here, let's just say 10 plus, 20 plus years, that's struggling. Is that their fault that they're struggling?
No.
Or the lack of assistance?
Lack of assistance.
Okay, so now you saying that they done assisted, let's say 40,000 people and helped them adjust. What about the people that's been here for 20 years and still haven't adjusted? So that's how it's being looked at. It's being,
if you've been here, and let me just say this, because we are people who live under this type of scrutiny from time to time, where we do go broke, where we ask for assistance and we don't get it. And I get it, and I understand that you got people who come to this country and they automatically receive things.
Automatically qualify
for certain things that we don't qualify. But what I'm saying to somebody is, hey, we had to get a start somewhere. We had to figure out, as minorities how we were going to strive in this country. Now, I can't speak for every minority. I can't. I really can't even speak for my own group, my own culture, or my own race. I really can't do that. Because to sit here and say that we migrated or immigrated from Africa, I can't really say that either. But I can say that if we are land of the melting pot, and we are supposed to be the ones who allow people fresh starts, new beginnings.
Allow.
Yeah, we allow.
Strong word.
Very strong word. And I'm using it in a very good content. Allow. Because sometimes this government allows you to do it and sometimes they don't. They just don't. And right now, this is one of them things where they're telling everybody they really don't want, the government really don't want to help, but they're asking each state, each county.
No, the government, not to cut you off, the government does want to help. They don't, I mean, not the government, sorry. The individual states do want to help, but they saying they need assistance from the government, and government took a step back.
In which I do agree with that. I'm going to agree with that 100%. You know, he's been, let's just talk about New York City. I'm not even going to go through the other states. I'm going to just stay with New York City because this is where I'm at. Now, he's been coming after Biden for a long period of time about, you need to help us. You need to really give us an economic bill. But here's the thing. The state's about to go underneath again. You know, we have our budget coming up. The budget definitely is not going to be ready in time for the deadline. And with the fact of these migrants coming through and these immigrants are here, they got to find extra money for them.
Well, they are giving government relief after Adams made his speech.
The $2 billion, you mean, or the $5 billion?
I don't know how much it is, but I know that we are receiving relief for the migrant population.
Can I read something?
Sure.
It says, President Biden is coming to the city, Adams says. I'm hoping that he understands this beautiful city, that's the economic engine of the entire country, is being saddled with $2 million that we spent already. $5 billion we're going to spend it in its fiscal crisis. $12 billion in the next 2 budgetary cycles. New York doesn't deserve this. The asylum seekers don't deserve this. Who are the asylum seekers? What is that? What is an asylum seeker?
Somebody who seeks to come here and...
Why they got so many different names for them? They call them immigrants, they call them migrants, they call them asylum seekers, runaways. What are they? What are they? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
That's a word under different definitions. Let me think.
He said, I spoke to the president earlier this year and shared our concerns of both the governor, also communicated with him. And that was the last time we spoke with the president. Here's the thing. He keeps focusing on the president. He does. And I understand that they're focusing on the government giving them aid and giving them housing and people getting jobs and things like that. But let's just look at New York City.
Okay. Not to cut you up, but when you focus on an issue,
right,
and you're not getting help, the only place you can go is to the top, to put the top on the forefront to make the people under him do what they need to do to assist the situation. So that's why I believe that they're at this point with him because they couldn't get help under him.
Right, but my point is, what are you asking help for? Are you asking help for money?
Yes.
Housing?
They don't need the housing. They can produce the housing if they have the money.
In other words, so they can build new houses, or they're just shelter.
Whatever they choose to do with it. I don't know the full plan.
Some of these places and how they do in these shelters are ridiculous.
Well, we've known that even before the migrants was coming over.
That's my whole point. You're complaining about the migrants in here, but you had this issue way before. And I understand he's the new mayor. He inherited what he's dealing with right now. He inherited that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this bill was crossed way before to deal with the migrants in this way, before he became mayor of New York City.
Well, they had some type of plan to deal with the normalcy of people coming over. But now that we have these abundant numbers coming through, it's being hard to deal with. And then you putting them in areas where people are rebelling against it.
You said normality.
Well, because we had normal migration.
So this is not normal because it's coming out of abundance?
No, it's not.
See, the only reason why I have a problem with that is because they're accepting the migrants from, I guess, where these people come from, Salvador, places like that. But they shut the back door on Haiti. So I'm not understanding really what's happening. Are we playing favoritism? Are we playing what we need and what we don't need? I mean, does it take $2 billion, $5 billion, or $10 million a day? Are you really paying $10 million a day for these asylum seekers?
I don't think it's $10 million a day.
He says it.
$10 million.
He says it. Both Adams and Hutchko, I don't know if you know who the Hutchko, have urged the Biden administration to grant federal work. Yeah.
It could be. I don't know.
They're looking for the governor reportedly for muling migrants, work visas. Obviously, they are costing these people, asylum seekers, are costing the city $10 million. How can the city, you're paying yourself? These are buildings that you control. I'm not getting on Eric Adams. I'm not seeing him in a different light. I'm just saying, you own these buildings. The city owns these buildings. So when you put people in city buildings or you put them in city buildings that you may have condemned, that you're not using, that you're asking for money.
Them buildings don't run automatically.
Right, but the point is they're not being used.
Right. The shell of the building is not the issue.
The point is that it is being maintained. You're right. You hit it right on the head. Right where I'm going. So you are maintaining a building that nobody's working in, living in, doing nothing in. Now that you got people in it, you're complaining that it's costing you $10 million a day? So what was it costing you when nobody was living there and the people were
obviously it wasn't costing nothing because there was nothing to produce.
But
you
got to
produce plump, but you got to think. Break it. You got to break it down. You got to do the numbers. The numbers is what tells, and that's what they're going by.
Right, but he's going by numbers that might be falsely advertised.
I'm not. I have no documentation on that.
You're saying that since these, and I'm gonna call them foreigners. I don't like migrants. I don't like immigrants.
So who likes foreigners?
Foreigner sounds more appropriate than you act like these people coming over with nothing.
What are they coming over with?
Skills. Some of these people may have job skills.
Yes. Well, that's the same thing the people that's here are saying. They don't get the opportunities, and they have skills.
Yeah, but the point is that you don't use. Let's be honest. The people who live here do not use their resources. They do not use their resources, and they do not.
So you're speaking for everybody.
I'm speaking for everybody right now.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree that they're not using their skills.
They're not using their skills.
Okay.
Why would you be nervous about people who are? First of all, these people have to take low-level jobs, and I hate to say these people. Migrants have to take low-level jobs. Like, again, I hate to call them migrants, but
that people here are already looking for.
Too, huh?
That people here are already looking for.
Right, but they're not getting the jobs. Why you not? I don't know.
Why they're not? So you think it's their fault that they're not getting the jobs? When the jobs for the ones that's coming over now are just being given.
I watch people who make good money step over people who don't earn money.
You're talking about individuals. You're not talking about as a population.
I'm going to say it again. I watch people who make good money step over people.
You're talking about individuals.
However you want to put it.
That's what you're
talking about. I'm talking about your politicians, everybody, your councilmen. You know, even down to the person who, your comp controller. Your comp controller for the city is the person who controls the money that comes in and out of the city for your district.
So you're telling people that they dropped the ball, so let somebody else get the ball.
I'm telling people that if you would learn to do your election instead of just electing on voting on the presidency election and really pay attention to your elections, you will see where your money's going, why we have immigrants coming to this country, and why it's being done this way. There's nobody, listen, man, if you go to November 4th, and every 4 years you say, hey, that's the president's vote, tell me Nobody could tell you what's on the ballot. Nobody can't tell you who's running on the ballot every year. Nothing. Nobody even knows what a comm controller is. And the comm controller is the man who has to really sit down with Eric Adams and figure out how he's going to write these checks for these people who are coming in and out. But nobody points the finger at the comm controller. Why you don't have money, Mr. Comm Controller? Because you giving certain money to schools, which I don't have a problem with. You're giving certain money to build all your district up around, but everybody knew this was coming. This is not like something that, hey, we sat on our seat and somebody opened the door and they appeared at the door. They knew this was coming.
Earlier,
The Texas governor made that clear to let everybody know this is happening. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Earlier, I mentioned to you that the reason why he might have went at Biden because the comp controller,
right,
or whoever he's not getting the assistance from, maybe they feel that they can't write that check, so he's going to the head.
That's a lot of checks. That's a lot of checks.
That's not a lot of checks. That's just one big check.
It's a lot of check when you see. I tell people, man, they're looking for space for these asylum seekers.
They're not looking for space.
They're looking for space.
They have space.
Okay, so what they want?
They
want
don't
money
have
for
the money,
space.
right?
Right. But people forget not only are they taking on these asylum seekers, you also have these people from Ukraine who are coming over.
That's one and the same.
People,
they're asylum seekers too.
No, they're not. Those are
they're
two
not
different
seeking
groups.
asylum?
No, I don't think that you see Ukraine people getting off no bus like that.
Nobody said about getting off the bus.
Okay, I understand
They're
what you're
talking
saying.
about seeking asylum. It's
Yes,
not
they
only
are.
the people that getting off the buses that they have to deal with.
You're right. They also are.
That's the normalcy I spoke of before.
They are
we
asylum
already
seekers.
had people coming in.
They are asylum seekers.
Doing their necessary paperwork to get here to become citizens.
The average, and then here's the process for them to become citizens to work, I think takes too long too.
It takes too long?
It takes too long.
But I think it's worth the longevity because these people have waited a long time anyway. So for them to wait a little bit longer to make sure things are processed right.
What's the process?
Wait a minute. What process goes fast?
I mean, I'm not asking
governmental and statewide.
I'm not asking the process. I'm not saying, hey.
You said it's taking too long.
It is, but I'm not saying
it can't be taking too long and not taking too long.
It should be less than 30 days. It should not.
Why should it be?
Because you already know what you're dealing with.
What is the rush?
What is not the rush? If you can find these people jobs, opportunity, and apartments, then you can make room for the next wave.
Wait.
Go ahead.
What about that same option for people who already live here? Or are you just saying the people that just live here dropped the ball, so now we giving the ball to somebody else?
That's what you feel? Some of them, yes.
Okay, now you said some of them. Before you said all of them.
Some of them.
Okay.
Some of them, because I'm starting to really understand what you're asking me. Some of them have dropped the ball. Some of them don't want to take the time or necessary to help themselves.
Okay, so what about all the housing seekers that's out here? There's thousands of people that was already here that's seeking housing. People that have probably gotten
I'm gonna be
out.
honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, 60% of the people who are probably looking for housing probably got evicted already, and it's not because the lack thereof. They probably couldn't afford to be where they're at right.
That's a lot of probablys.
It's a lot of probablys.
Well, we next time we come to this issue, we need to come with standard facts because probablys is not.
The reason why I'm using the word, and I'm gonna say probably, allegedly, however you want to put it, is because if you look at now, where you got real nice buildings where we weren't. Well, I ain't gonna say we. That's a strong word too. Where low income families were no longer allowed to shelter or find room and board. They're allowing these people in their buildings now. And I hate to say these people.
They're allowing the people's in there. Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yes. So now that you have low-income rented apartments are going up all over the city.
Through proper screening and all of that.
And yes, so you're going to make room now. And then you gotta really think about it. Hey, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of labor work that a lot of people just don't want to do.
I disagree.
No, I don't
that
disagree.
A lot of people just don't want to do. Those are people that must have choices.
Well, people who feel they have choices already made their choices.
There are people who don't have choices that'll take any job.
Not to be involved in what's going on right now. You know, I am going to agree with you with one thing. We are paying attention a lot to the people who are migrating here. We are paying attention a lot to that. But we also are not paying enough attention, and I agree with you there, to the people who are already here. To a lot of our homeless who are homeless, and they're not getting
that are not due to their own accord or to abuse and anything like that.
But what about a person who chooses to be homeless? And I know somebody said to me, nobody chooses to be homeless. That's not true.
Yes, there are people who choose to be homeless.
There's
people who choose to be homeless. There's people who just give up. There's people who just abuse the system. I do understand what you're saying.
And there are people who just say, hey, man, I'm tired of the government.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of them giving and taking from me and not giving me nothing. Because listen, man, most people who work, who have a job making $60,000, you're only bringing back $30,000 only for the government to give you back $4,000 after they done took everything else. So it's hard, and I know it's easy for me to talk because I'm coming at the end of my, I say at the end of my work woes. Because I'm facing retirement. But I'm also afraid that, hey, if they keep going on doing what they're doing and how my Social Security and stuff is going to work out, I'm afraid of that too. So I want migrants and people to come in here and get Social Security numbers and fulfill that retirement plan. Because you got people after me who might not get that. But if you get people working under the Social Security number of the United States of America, no matter where they land, you're giving them the opportunity. That gives the people who already were working here the opportunity to collect their money in the future.
Okay, so you're saying increase the business flow instead of the livelihood of...
See, my thing is that you already... taken away from the people who are here. You already taken. There's nothing that they can do.
There's nothing that who can do.
That the people who live here, the people who are protesting.
There's nothing that they can do?
No. They can only protest. They really can't stop. I mean, you may get a councilman say, hey, listen, can we not put it there? Maybe you got somebody who could, that certain person in that certain section or district who might contribute a lot. That district might contribute a lot to a certain councilman's fund. So you might say the councilman say, hey, listen, instead of them having to go through all this, let's just smooth this over here. But let's not...
Shouldn't that be the plan in the beginning?
No.
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 So the plan should be to move them in the middle of communities that's already functioning when they can create their own community.
You know, like I always said, I don't know why they chose New York City. I don't know why they first chose...
They didn't just chose New York City. They chose all the cities.
I'm going to say that. I don't know why they chose Texas. I don't know why they chose certain... But you and I both know that there are areas in the United States unclaimed, uncharted.
That's what I'm speaking of.
Yeah, which means that there are places that they probably can build a whole damn new project section to put these people in. I hate to use the word project, but you know what I mean.
Housing.
Excuse me, you're right.
Where they can become self-sufficient within, like you said, they do have skills within these workers. I'm sure they have plumbers and builders and concrete people, and that part I do understand. But when you're forcing them in the communities of people who have spent their livelihood and their lives building these communities, I think they should have a say-so.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't have a say-so, but the protest.
But that's what
for you to...
They didn't have a say-so.
Yeah, but for you to be outside online and protesting as a person, like you know how that makes a person feel who's on a bus with nowhere to go. You got to think about that.
But that's the option that's given to them.
Riding on the bus?
No,
or be able to protest.
Protesting. That's the option that's given to them. Okay, let's say the government knocked on your door, say, we understand you got whatever amount of people living in your apartment. We need 2 more people to live there. How would you feel about that?
That's a good question,
and saying no, you don't have no right to go against it. Just open the door, let them in, and let them know where they're going to be staying at.
And you know what's funny? I had a guy at my job who said that he would take them. And to answer your question, yeah, I probably would. I probably would. I'm not sure if my woman would agree to it, but I probably would because my thing is me. By the grace of God, there goes I. So I would do it just for the fact of never knowing when I can go home.
You don't know who that is you moving in your house.
You don't know.
So how would you do that? How could you subject
don't
your
know.
family to something that you don't know what's coming in the door? You can't do that.
You don't know what you're subjecting your family to.
They're coming to your door with 2 or 3 individuals you never saw in the world, hasn't been properly screened. You don't know what's their background. They're saying these people have to live with you.
You're right.
And there's nothing you can say about it.
And I'm still telling you that I might do it.
Okay.
I might not like the reason why I have to do it, or maybe
you don't have to do anything. That's why they're protesting.
See, you know why? And I'm gonna answer why I keep saying I have to, because I'm not gonna walk around here and say I believe in God, knowing that no matter how many people knock on God or Jesus' door, He's not gonna turn them away. He's just not. So I can't sit here and keep telling myself that I believe in God, I believe in Him, and I pray with faith, and not show the faith that I'm praying to. How can I not help? I mean, yes, it might put me in a bad situation. Yes.
I would help, but you can't live here.
I understand that.
I would help to find you someplace to live, but it can't be here.
I'm not saying the way you would go about it is wrong. Mm-hmm. No one can tell nobody how they go about helping asylum seekers straighten out their life.
I'm just talking about a strange individual that has to come live with you. I'm not talking about where they come from or where, because we don't know where they come from.
Family live with you and they strange.
Okay.
You got family who could be strangers.
But you have a choice.
Yes, you do.
They're not giving people a choice in certain communities. They just saying these people got to live with you.
Yeah, but they're not living in your home.
Living in your community is living in your home.
Okay, so
depending on who you are.
Okay, and I get it because you don't know who's coming into the community. You don't know who's living down the street from you.
From your kids that's outside riding their bikes up and down the street and things like that.
I understand that because I've talked about, we had that conversation before about when you allow these asylum seekers in, you don't know if you got murderers or rapists or pedophiles or whatever in the group. You don't know. You really, 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 really don't know. So with that being said, why you think the government is still allowing it in? If you and
I don't think they have a choice. They have to accept it and deal with it. That's what they're doing. So they're trying to deal with it.
The United States?
Yeah. I was talking about individual states, but yes.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe France and Scotland and Canada and all these other people are going through what we're going through right now?
I don't know. I'm not there.
Do you think they're reaching out to help asylum seekers find homes, jobs?
Don't know.
Put food on their tables?
Don't know.
Why are they coming down so hard on the United States for about something that's going on around the whole entire world?
Land of the free, home of the brave.
Then act like it.
Okay.
If it's the land of the free and the home of the brave, what the
land of the free, not the house of the free.
Well, they gotta go
there's
somewhere.
There's more land. They're just saying put them somewhere else. Don't put them here.
You're happy if it's your neighbor. You're sad if it's you. Well, sooner or later it's gonna be you and not your neighbor.
I don't know where you get that analogy, but anyway, if that's what you want to say.
I'm just telling you, you may look at your neighbor fall on hard times and may say, damn, I need to help my neighbor.
Okay.
Right? But then when you on a hard time and your neighbor's doing well, your neighbor looks at you from the fence and say, hey, are you okay?
Okay.
You have to live with that. You have to live with the fact that you do for others and others may not do for you. So we give these asylum seekers homes. So what? We give them homes. You got to think about it. For the next 10 years, if we allow this, people will be able to retire normal. Listen, there's nobody working. There's nobody in the United States who's working long enough, hard enough for people after myself to collect Social Security checks or even get their fucking pensions. And people are worried about these people coming in when they're going to help the pension. They're going to help the Social Security. They're going to help the Medicaid. They're going to enhance all of that because we need it. We always look at this thing as a society as, I don't want this person. I don't want. But then nobody in your fucking house is working but you. So then what?
So is that by choice?
It's not the brother. Look,
Is
whether
that
it's
by choice? You
whether
just
it's by
said-
choice
no,
or whether it's not by choice, it's happening. So how we get to that point of who did what and why did what doesn't matter. The fact is
It does matter.
And
It's
the fact is
happening
that
by
you
choice.
the fact is that we got this generation right now running around with guns, killing each other,
Mm-hmm.
not working, not putting nothing on the books of Social Security and nothing else. You got people who in the next 10 to 15 years might work 20, 30 years and don't get nothing in the fucking end. Nothing. And nobody's looking
Now,
at
the
that.
part of that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
The part of me that agrees with you.
Okay.
Is that how is that possible if I'm paying into it?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
They tell you that it's happening. It tell you.
It
They
does matter.
They tell you that that's happening. They'll tell you that the Social Security and the people they had to. How do you cut Social Security checks? How do you take away pensions? Right now, the man just said, "Hey, we got a problem." So you know what? The person that he assigned to get 100,000, he got to cut him now. I got to cut you from 100,000 to 70,000. Who does that?
Because I got to use your money to help take care of the migrants.
But you have enough migrants to help take care of him who's making the 100,000.
Really?
Yes, really.
And how long in that process is that going to take?
Listen, the whole thing about paying into yourself is getting a Social Security number.
Wait.
Okay,
You
I'm
can't
sorry.
say that because
Okay.
you just said there's not going to be money. That's not happening, what you just said.
I said if they do not allow the asylum seekers in, there will not be enough money. There's not enough. There's not, go
That's
ahead.
where I'm trying to stop you at.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
If I'm paying into it,
Right.
why is there not enough money for me?
Because it's not going to be enough. So
Why? I'm paying
Because
for my
there's not
retirement.
enough. There's not enough people working. How you if there's not
You're
enough
not
people?
listening to the question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm paying into my retirement.
Right.
How is my money not there?
Because it's not going to. Let me calm
ahead.
down. Let me calm down. Your money is not going to be there because they're going to use it. They're going to use it to do other things, like fund wars, build schools, build highways, whatever. They're going to use it.
And that's okay.
The fact that, no, it's not okay, but then you got to understand that there's nobody putting into. How do you expect to get something that nobody's putting in? If you're the only one putting in, you think you're going to get the portion that you put in back?
That's the purpose of me paying into my retirement, so
Well,
I
then
have something
good luck.
at the end.
Good luck.
That's what it should be.
Good luck.
That's what I'm saying.
Good luck, because it's not going to happen.
Oh, well, I already know that.
That's going to be our next show. We're going to have to sit down and figure out how people are going to be able to collect Social Security, pensions, and everything else, because they're being cut in half already.
And we're going to figure that out, and we're not the scholars that get paid to figure that out.
You're right.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one.
That's definitely
And
gonna
I
be a
do
good
agree with you with what you're saying about how can it be possible for you to pay in and not get something back?
one. I didn't say something. Not get your retirement.
You get your
pay
retirement.
into retirement.
It won't be what you pay
So
in.
you have some, right?
Right.
Ain't that the purpose of paying into retirement?
Amen.
A lot of people do it. Some people take extra retirement plans.
Yes, they do.
So if you do all these plans, how is your money not there when it's your time? Because they use your money unwisely?
Unwisely, bad
And these are the
investment.
people that we elect to use our money unwisely?
That's why I'm trying to tell you, from people, stop just voting on the president. There are other levels to this shit, man, that people are not voting on. People don't even, like I said, people don't even know who their district council is. They don't even know who their comm control is. People don't even know who their local librarian, and she plays a simple part too on the criteria of your school.
People don't even know who their mailman is.
I'm just being honest with you, and I'm just trying to let you understand that we're digging up a crisis for somebody to not come in here, and we need their help. They need our help. We need their help, because we need their help for longevity. Because if they can work in this country and work 5 to 6 years, that might help about 100,000 people get at least a decent amount of retirement, whatever.
So you basing on longevity. That's
Yes.
what
Yes.
the outcome to look at, you're saying, is longevity.
Longevity.
There are people who don't believe there's going to be no longevity.
I know that.
There's people that are living for now, can't live for 10 years from now.
Well, why they can't live for 10 years? Because there's no future. There's nobody. Okay, look. After our generation, let's just be honest.
You just completed it.
We got children.
I got to hear this.
We got children. And in our generation, let's be honest. And from where I work at and where you work at, do you see a lot of youth working?
What do you mean you see? Yeah.
At your job?
Yes.
A whole lot of youth.
Yes.
See, and now, how much of that portion of that youth you think is going to last just as long as the elderly people who are there?
Don't know, because a lot of them don't seem to have the urgency or the
drive,
the focus for looking towards longevity. They're looking for now.
Right.
Okay.
So
that's my whole point.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. So now you get the average person who works a job maybe 2-3 years and he's doing something else. There's no more longevity thinking people who want to work that long. Especially people who have turned to these social media outlets, and they have done things different, where they're basically not paying into the economy, but they're eating off the economy.
So you're saying they're not paying taxes?
I don't know. I don't want to put that out there because I don't know.
I think they are paying. I think
I don't
they
know
are
if
forced to pay taxes.
I don't know as far as these social media people who are doing well like that, do they pay taxes? I don't know. I don't want to put that out there.
I believe they're forced to pay taxes. I don't believe that they're making all this money through social media and not paying taxes.
I don't know. I know that it's just that the criteria has changed. Your social security number has changed. Things have changed. There's no one paying into the system anymore. How do you expect the system to work if nobody's paying into the system?
For some reason, I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
Just I don't have facts. I don't have facts, so I'm in the blind. So that's why I'm just going by with my own gut and saying I don't believe that.
I know for a fact that during the time,
I believe IRS is getting their money. Government is getting their money. How they're getting it and what they're doing with it is the part that I don't agree with.
I think we took an extra 4 when we went through the storm of the pandemic. Yeah, you was too loud. It's okay. You was clapping. It's all right, go ahead. He was talking to me.
No. I just said that the pandemic made the government money on a lot of aspects. I know a lot of people went out of work, work from home, those things.
Mm-hmm. Money how, though?
Well, it enriched a lot of people. I know a lot of people that jumped in the trenches and pulled out businesses that wasn't here before. Social media is at an all-time high.
That's what I'm saying. So people have switched their.
There was people baking that wasn't baking before. A lot of stuff was going on.
A lot of stuff was going on. So are these people paying into their Social Security, or they're not paying into the system? They might be paying into the system of self.
The system of self.
Because you're taking you learn to do what the government do, and now you got your own money coming directly to you. Mm-hmm. You get to pay the government his share
if you're paying,
and now you get to set up your own criteria about yourself. However you do it, insurance-wise. Yes, please, thank you. I don't matter. Thank you. I would like something to drink. When he on the camera, appreciate it, man. So I
shout out to Marley Burgers.
Shout out to Marley Burgers. You can see Marley up at the top of the screen. He's up in the flash. When you look in your left hand corner, your right hand corner, you see Marley up in there. But I'm just saying that people now they have taken on the opportunity to become self-employed. Being that you're self-employed, you're paying into the system a whole different way. It's not like you're paying into the system now with a
weekly tax deduction.
Weekly tax deduction, a bi-weekly tax deduction. Thank you. That was perfectly said.
Even self-employed, to apply to the government, you still got to pay.
If I put Pepsi on the screen, does Pepsi have to pay us? I'm just checking. I'm trying to get all aspect of the money, man.
Well,
It's time to start thinking
That's
like
what the
that.
mayor is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get aspect of the money and stop spending hours.
So
You gotta understand. You gotta understand on both sides.
Right.
You can't just understand one side.
I'm trying to understand both
These
sides.
people. Let's think of where we used to live. Now, let's just say they put 50 new families on that block.
On that block.
So now there's 50 different personalities and things that you have to deal with. You don't know what kind of people you're dealing with. You gotta make friends with these people or not make friends with them, but some way you have to coexist.
Right.
So you don't. So now your stores are crowded, more
Right.
crowded.
Right.
Corner stores, which are already small, are more crowded.
Right.
There's a lot to impact.
Right.
The little hustles that people have in the neighborhood, selling this and selling that, whatever, legal and illegal, that all is bombarded and crowded by other
But it
by
increases.
competition.
But it increases.
Not always. It increases
Doesn't-
only in. Wait a minute.
I'm sorry,
It
I
increases
apologize.
only in population. It doesn't have to increase in business.
Well-
Or it might for some, but not for all.
Population doesn't bring money.
I'll repeat it again. It
Okay.
might for some, but not for all. Because as you increase people, you increase other ideas. When you was the only, let's say, a Frank stand, you was the only Frank stand in the park, you were getting more money. But now that you got 10 Frank stands in the park, even though you got 1,000 more people, no, what's telling that your quality of life is going to increase?
Good point. That's a good point. But that's what I was alliterating. That's what I was saying when we first started, that there are so many people who now are self-employed. They're not directly paying into the system. So what's going to happen to the system?
But being self-employed doesn't mean you don't pay into the system.
It just means you pay into it differently.
Right.
Right.
I've been self-employed before.
So either you
where
pay,
you still had to pay taxes.
whether you pay it up front or you pay it on the back end. But here, when you was bi-weekly or weekly, they took it from you.
What's the difference if you still got to pay it?
If you pay it. Because you don't have to, when you self-employed, you don't have to report every dollar. You just don't.
There's people that are employed
Hey.
by companies that don't
Report every
every
dollar.
dollar.
I'm just saying.
It's hard to make it reporting every dollar.
I just don't understand how you're going to give somebody a hard time when we're going through hard times and need help.
They're not
We need
really.
help, though.
Wait a minute. They're not really giving a hard time. They trying to get their own relief. They're not trying to give hard time to new people. They're saying do it a different way, do it properly, do it more formally, because what you're bringing to our neighborhoods is not what we want. We built our community. This is what, not me per se, but I'm referring to, I think it was Staten Island. That
I know the protesters. Yes.
They built what's being said is they built their community, and their community might be working for them or might not be working for them, but to increase on unknowns in our community, they just don't think that's wise. They wasn't told about it beforehand. They just saying, like I said, this is what you got to deal with. They didn't get a chance to read over the people's resume that's moving next door.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Does skin play a factor? Color? Race? Creed?
I don't think it plays a factor as much as what crime, the unknown factors, what's known to come from certain countries. You know, that's what people are thinking about. I don't think it's more to the color. It's color's always a factor. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, it does.
But I don't think it's more to that than you just bringing people over here and overpopulating an area that's already struggling.
Overpopulated.
That's already struggling.
Let me just ask you a question. Have you ever seen an overpopulated area in the 5 boroughs? I'm just being honest. Real talk.
Overpopulated area? That's a good one. Because it got to be, what do you consider overpopulated?
Right.
Where it's crowds of people in the same elevator that can't in the same
I mean,
building? What do you mean overpopulated?
if you look at it, everybody in, let's just use where we live at, where we used to live. Well, you know what I'm saying. Let's use the block. The block has a certain amount of buildings on the block. And let's just say each apartment has, 3 people that live there. Let's just go by that. Even with that, there are times the block is completely empty. There are times when you walk into the store, it's completely empty. You walk in the supermarket, it's completely empty. Where are we overpopulated at?
Just because we're overpopulated, some of the things you mentioned don't mean that people have things to do, or maybe they have things to do.
Right.
People are probably doing things. That's why they're not in the supermarket at that particular time.
Okay, I mean, listen, I used to go by, hey, man, when I used to go to watch Monday Night Football, I used to say to myself, man, the roads are clear.
Is it because of the football game?
I don't know.
No, I'm saying that's what you was asking yourself.
Yeah.
Is it because of the football game?
Or could it be just a tired-ass Monday?
Right, and then you'll see, turn around 2 days later, you see the mall doesn't have a parking space in it. So you say to yourself, where was all these people just a day ago?
And there are still days that you can press the elevator and can't fit. Because there are times where it's crowded. All I'm saying to everybody is be self-conscious about conscious things. Don't be self-conscious about things that you think are going to hurt you in the future. Now, yes, every time you put a bunch of apples in the barrel, you're going to come out with some bad ones.
Not if you don't put a bad apple in the bunch.
I'm just saying. Sometimes you don't know a bad apple's in the bunch. That's all I'm saying. You don't even know if that
That's
bad,
a good one.
You don't even know if that bad apple got worms. You don't even know if it's a bad apple in the bunch. You take a chance every day.
Until the bad apple changes.
Until the bad apple changes.
Changes colors.
If we keep pushing away what might help us, this whole thing might fall apart, man. This whole United States, we already owe so much money as it is.
We who?
The United States.
Okay.
To certain people.
Are you part
It's
of
a
that
fact.
debt?
Most likely, yes.
Okay.
Most likely, yes. I
don't
mean,
don't
I might
support
not
that
have
debt.
contributed to it directly, but indirectly, I play a part in a lot of things too.
But it's funny you accept the debt, but it's difficult for you to get a loan if you needed one.
I understand that. That's a good phrase. I may cause the damage, but I can't help repair the damage.
No.
I get it.
That ain't it.
That ain't it.
I didn't cause the damage, but I can't add to it. I can't. Yeah. I can't get any benefit from the damage that I'm being said to assist.
Amen.
That's the point I'm trying to make. For me to open a business right now and get a loan to open a business, I probably couldn't get that without a fight. You know, but you just said all the debt that we're in. I could have used some of that debt.
A lot of us could have used
Well, that's the
debt,
point
man.
I'm trying to make. I could have used some of that debt to do what I wanted to do or needed to do. But we're still in debt. That's why I don't share that we.
To the wrong people, too. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Rand and Tone on our Sunday Weekly Convo. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to click on this show and listen to us talk. And we do appreciate that.
Even if you only listen for a little while.
Amen to that.
You're able to leave your comments, check in. We'll get back to you.
Make sure you subscribe, Cash App. I know I didn't put it up today. I'll put it up next time. But until then, if there's anything that you want to talk about, if there's anything you want us to talk about on the air or do anything live, let us know. Hit us up Facebook. Hit us up on YouTube. Shout out to Gorilla 2K. Shout out to Irrelevant Shit. Shout out to Marley's Burgers. official sponsors of the TRT production company, and also part of the production company team. We want to thank them too for always being a part of us when it's hard to be a part of ourselves. Until we can talk to you again, we appreciate you and we love you. Tone?
Wish you peace and love always. Protect yourself. COVID is not gone. And always have love and wash those hands.
Always have love and wash your hands.
Woo woo.
I'm gonna play some. Let me see if I can play some Get Right, Get Funky down joint coming out of here.
Watch it, y'all.
Let's see what we got going out here. Okay. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening to TRT Productions. Like I said, I am your host, Big Man, along with my co-host, Tony Tone. In due time, in the meantime, we hope that you find your way back to us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you friend request on the Facebook page. If you have anything that you would like for us to talk about, please put it in both areas. We do not mind. You get in touch with us. We will get in touch with you. Until we talk again, people, you have a good Sunday and stay safe.
Stay dry. It's wet out there, y'all.
Night, people.